Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Shore, Certified Americans with Disabilities Act advocate, and I've got with me a client that's been a client for at least a year, right, Jim?
Over a year, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jim and I are going to discuss a couple of wins that we've had using the ADA. And Jim, I'm just going to ask you some questions. When we started this, you were going through, really still going through a custody battle that's just vicious. Is that right?
Very, very right, very correct.
And every trick in the book has been used against you.
And then some.
So, and you've had a protective order for how long?
Almost 3 years now.
Golly. And it's for, tell me what it's for.
It is for
If
being
you if
woken up.
if you want to go into that,
Yeah,
let's preface this with if you want to go into that. You can be vague, but go ahead if you want to. If you don't, I'll cut this part out.
yeah. So I was woken up in the middle of the night, about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, to my daughter screaming for help, for my help. And then I went downstairs because my room at the time was upstairs. So I went downstairs and I found my a 16-year-old's stepson at the time attacking or choking her, and then her screaming for my help, "Daddy, Daddy, please help me. He is choking me." So then I jumped in and had to pull him off of her. And then from that moment, that's when everything went to, you know, being arrested and um, being treated like a criminal.
Wow. And this is, let me say this, this is the plight of many parents, not just men, not just women. This is the plight of many parents. They're trying to protect a child, and all of a sudden the other parent turns this into a vicious cycle of attacking the other parent and making all kinds of false allegations and so forth. And I'll say this up front. I've had to block your ex from my TikTok and or someone appearing to be her or and calling themselves her. We'll disclaim that. But both of my accounts, I saw that she had set up accounts with her and also other accounts that I just went and blocked. And I mean, she still may have access to it, but the thing is, it kind of unnerved me that you're trying to get help as someone with a disability, one or more disabilities, and you're trying to get equal access to the system, and it's just still going on. But the thing is, we've seen some successes. So let's talk about those. And let's talk about first, how was it when we first started? How was it that you received the notification of police presence? If a cop rolled up on you or you saw one or anything like that, tell me your reaction to that.
How my body would react to that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I couldn't even pass a police officer. I couldn't see one. I couldn't go past a standing building that was um, uh, a police station or anything without feeling like there was bricks on my chest or like rocks on my chest. I couldn't breathe. Sometimes I would get like tunnel vision, things like this. I couldn't go past any attorney's office I would see. I couldn't go past it. And when I did, my heartbeat would start racing, and just all of these things. So it was it was getting pretty bad at the time. I was searching anywhere for help.
I want to say that your responses are normal. I mean, even as a man, and perhaps especially as a man, you're seen by society as the problem. And so when a situation happens, and I've heard so many men tell me this, and there's a guy on TikTok called he goes by the TikTok name Dad's Law School. He's a lawyer. I think his name's Dave, but I can't remember. But anyway, he tells so many horror stories about dads that call to get help from the police and end up being a victim of the police. And so let's fast forward to the night and let's say this first. This video is actually to promote people knowing that they can have help during police situations because you've had this numerous times with me where you've had some kind of police interaction or you thought there was going to be police interaction and you got me on the phone and I walked through it with you. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And did that help?
100%.
So
It's like having I don't know if this analogy makes sense, but it's like having Mickey in your corner and you're Rocky, right? So you're fighting everybody and you got a Mickey in your corner.
you know you can do it. You just need somebody to tell you you can.
Yep.
There you go. That's good. I like it. So let's fast forward to the night where you took your daughter to the hospital for some situation. I think it was stomach pain. And all of a sudden, your ex shows up and the show begins.
hmm So the show began. I typically take my daughter and both of my children to the doctors. My ex doesn't feel that they need to go to the doctor, so I take her to the doctor. This time was an emergency room visit, which we had been to numerous times before. I actually felt pretty comfortable with them, but this time my ex told me that she was going to be there. She's going to show up, which is very abnormal. So I knew to be ready for it. So you know, I
You
was
called me.
hoping for what's that?
You called me.
I texted you. I said, "Hey, be on alert." And I
I,
said, "Hey,
I think we
uh,
spent about I think we spent about 3 hours on the phone together that night.
3 or 4 hours."
And
Yeah.
it was early morning hours too.
Yep. I ended up. I took them out of the hospital. The win was me taking them out of the hospital at 3 in the morning.
There you go.
Um, so I started at 8 in the evening the night before, um, and it was more accusations that I was a abuser, and it was a DCFS interaction. It was security from the hospital interaction. I ended up having to call the police. Both of us ended up having to speak to the police. However, then this particular time, the police sided with me because we had the documentation and the verbiage correct, and ended up they were going to give her a citation this time, and I walked out of there with my kids. I mean, that was an amazing feeling this time. I mean,
Do,
still not a fun, navigation, but it was more of a navigation with, direction, and I didn't feel lost the whole time. I felt we had more tools in the toolbox this time than we did before, than I ever had before.
so we had three officers there in the emergency room, and
Yeah, three.
um, I don't remember the corporal's name. I don't want to call his name, but we told him that you had communication disability and you needed to be handled in a different manner than most people, and that you needed to have effective communication concerning their interaction with you.
Yep.
And really, we just asked them to treat you courteously. And I didn't go into a whole lot of posturing. I just let them know that you had ADA rights and you needed to have ADA access. Do you think that made a difference?
Well, what I thought made a difference was they heard us, they listened, and they acted differently than any other interaction I've had with police in the last 2 to 3 years. So again, it felt like it mattered, and it felt like they listened. So it felt like they came from a different place than coming in hot and fast. They came in and they listened and treated me like it felt like a human being, and I told them that day. So it was pretty cool.
The word I would use is courteous. They were very courteous with you.
hmm
And the DCFS interaction. Let's go there for a second. So DCF shows up and you call me and I'm recording and you're recording and they see you recording and they ask you what?
What are you recording? And I said, yes, I am. That's one of the accommodations I request for my disability. And they shut their books, packed up, and left.
And the paperwork actually said that DCF recommends the child go back home with the dad. And no, I guess I could pull that up. Give me a second. I'm gonna pause. I'm not gonna pull it up for to show, but hang on. Recording back. So I'm actually popping this up on the screen. DCFS came to do an assessment. At this time, their recommendation is to discharge home to dad. So I'm just going to say, if you're involved in a situation with DCSF or the police, you have ADA rights. And if you don't assert those ADA rights, they have deniability. So when DCFS saw that he was recording for his ADA mitigation, for his disability mitigation, they ran. And they because they don't want to be caught on screen doing what they or on recording doing what they do. They don't want that. And so that was
MJ, to
go
interject
ahead.
a little bit, they've ran every single time now to speak to me. Every interaction I've had since then, they've ran as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, DCFS is it's a minefield that no one is equipped to go through because they're not there for you. They're there for them. That's the only reason they're there. They're actually not there for the child, in my opinion. They're there for them. And so let's go ahead and move forward, though, to this most recent win that we had this week. So you had a vehicle that was parked on the street, and for whatever reason, the registration had expired, and you hadn't moved it in 72 hours. They issued you some tickets, and um, that wasn't the bad part, but it did give you some anxiety. And so the bad part was they sent you a letter. Let's pull up that letter. And I've got it sanitized, so your home address is not on it. Uh, all right. So right here, this letter. Can you see this letter?
Yes.
Okay. It's the Elburn Police Department, and they're saying, there's been no response. The fine's doubled. But then they write this. This is their writing that they put. This is not on a form. This is their writing. Tickets issued under village ordinances are considered a courtesy in lieu of arrest. Well, any reasonable person that sees this is going to say, wait a minute, I could be arrested for this, for a parking ticket? Because it is a threat. It's a veiled threat and it's intimidating. And under the ADA, that's not part of the program. Coercion, intimidation, threats, and interference are prohibited once you've invoked your ADA rights. So the first thing I did was I wrote the city. I told them you were with a communication disability and that you needed to have accommodations and that they needed to communicate with you effectively. So they wrote back, and this is what they said. Let me get to it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So, Village of Elburn, they wrote it. And we got this from Chris Ranny. And I've also blocked out his email address because I don't, these people don't need to be harassed. But this is an example of a city doing the right thing. So this is in response to your ADA accommodation request dated July 20th, 2025. And so we ask, are the alleged offenses arrestable under state, local, or federal law? And if so, are those misdemeanors or felony? Um, and so they go back and say, no, they're not arrestable offenses. No, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. And right here is the key. The Elburn Police Department will modify the standard language for non-arrestable citations to eliminate the reference to a courtesy in lieu of arrest. So evidently they're going to do that across the board, and that's fair for everybody, not just people with disabilities, because people that think they're in threat of being arrested over an unpaid parking ticket, a simple parking ticket that was just 30 days or 10 days late, I don't remember which. That's a problem. And so they then go on and they're going to say, they say that they will conduct communications with you via email at your email address. And of course, I deleted that. And for appropriate review and mitigation of disability. And so they they did say here, um, where is that? Mr. Canota is presumed innocent until proven guilty to contest the tickets. And there was no indication on the tickets on how to contest it at all. None. And so we noted that in our my communication to him. Mr. Canota may file an ordinance review with the Elburn Police Department and or may contest the tickets in court. So that's a lot more information than they gave you on that threatening letter. So they also said, please don't hesitate to contact us with any further questions or concerns. Now, that's common language, but actually, this was a great letter. Thank you for submitting your ADA accommodation request. All future correspondence with Mr. Canotto will include the ADA advocate. So they gave you, ADA accommodations. They gave you courtesy. They changed their policy. And all of this was just because you had invoked the ADA and had an advocate on your side. You know,
Absolutely.
I don't pump up my services. I'm just really proud of how we've been able to turn your fear around into more actionable a life. And so,
Absolutely.
you want to say something about that?
Well, yeah, and that's what it has done. And even today, like I just told you, and I just showed you pictures, I have a difficult time leaving the house at times. And today I was able to go to the sheriff's department's national night out with my children and not be afraid because I had, a response from that letter. So I didn't have fear of being arrested again, or arrested at all. I mean, again, arrested, any of those things. I don't need that. I don't want that. I don't even want to think about that. But this was more clear to that, okay, I'm not gonna be arrested. There's no chance of me being arrested. And they did an amazing communication back to me, which made me feel like this is a great place to be. And if I didn't have that, I'd just be stuck in not knowing and not being able to communicate with them and just being stuck in my house and being afraid and everything, back to the fear feelings and the reactions that your body has. And we're kind of eliminating those, which is wonderful.
Wow. So, wow, I just can't tell you how thankful I am to have interacted with you all this time and that, we're buddies now. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. And so, um, I, uh, I appreciate the opportunity to be of service to you and help you. And I'm very thankful that you're learning that you can make steps forward. So that's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It doesn't, these invisible disabilities are hard because other people can't tell that they're happening. So, again, noticeably, I'm able to leave the house and, not be nervous of leaving the house. I mean, I was surrounded by police officers today. I was surrounded by SWAT. I didn't even think about it once. And that wouldn't have happened a year ago.
Well, let me tell you a funny story I haven't told you yet. So today I called a place to arrange for an appointment tomorrow. And the guy that was on the phone, he was not very communicative at all. And I repeated, I kept repeating what I was saying because he wasn't getting it. And finally, I was screaming, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm triggered." And so I called back to this place three different times and said, "Can you connect me with somebody else in that office?" Every time this guy picked up. And so finally I said, "Look, man, I've got communication disability, and I hate advocating for myself, but I do it, and it's the hardest thing to do." But I said, "Look, I've got communication disability." I said, "Look, I overreacted a while ago." And I said, "I know I was screaming at you, but really all I want is just to talk to so and so and find out if I could come tomorrow." And this guy, I mean, once I apologized, this guy was all over himself being kind to me. And we started communicating. And he went up to the front. He checked on what I needed checked on. I'm going to the appointment tomorrow. And well, it's not really an appointment, it's a walk-in. And so it's a medical thing that I have to get done every so often. But so the thing is the ADA can change things for you. And people, well, let's just say men in particular need to not be afraid to say, I need help. I need help. Period. You know,
Yeah,
I
and I
got
think educating yourself on how to get yourself help, and then on top of it, saying it in a way to a clear way to the other person. So even if they don't know about ADA, they're like, wait a minute, what is this person asking for, and why are they asking for that? I think that that's important as well.
so you've had some wins with this, and also you're taking my class here in coming up in a week or so. You're starting on my class. So
Absolutely, 'cause I've seen how good this is. I've seen how, beneficial this is to my life. I want to help others. I want to, make sure that I get better at it for myself. And, on top of it, who knows what's going to happen with my children. I want to be able to advocate for them as well. Um, and, this is something I think is super important. I've entrusted you with my life, and
it's all good, buddy. Let it out. Made a difference, huh?
yeah. So I trusted you when nobody else was helping. Was Everybody else was punching my life and knocking me down. I trusted one more person, and it was the right one. So I want to learn what you do, and I want to hopefully, you know, do what you do for somebody else, even if it's just one.
Wow, that's pretty powerful right there. Um, I'm honored. I'm honored
Yeah,
because I've walked through the same fear levels that most people that I work with that I have as clients have. And I can't tell you how much it means to me. When I see you, I know I got an opportunity to do something different again and something good. I feel like we are making a difference. So I'm thankful to you for trusting me. I'm thankful to you for allowing me to be a part of your team because that's a it's a really cool place to see things happen. And
it's been pretty awesome.
anyway, I just appreciate you, Jim. We'll go ahead and turn this recording off, but I want to thank you again for coming on. And you're okay with me sharing this, correct?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.